Hey everyone, welcome back to another WPF modern application. We've been creating a budget app from scratch and making it look a little more modern and a little more clean using mawapps.metro, their styling library in WPF. And there's been a whole playlist, so if this is the first one you've seen and you want to go back to the very beginning, feel free to go through that playlist. And also all of my code will be in the description below. On my GitHub, I try to make a tag for each video. So the video you're watching, you can see the code up to that point. And today we're going to do a few different things, more some housekeeping, I guess. Well, not so much housekeeping, maybe that was the wrong word, but we're going to do a few, I guess, minor things to set us up for the next video, which I want to edit existing budgets. So we have budgets saved in our database. We pull them in initially. We can select them. My next step is I want to edit the budgets. I also want to do something in this video that I mentioned in the last video as well. And if you like this kind of content, feel free to subscribe. That way you don't miss out on any future videos and any topics that you might want to learn from. And as I just learn things in the real world, I make videos on them. And let's hop into it. So here's our app. One of the things I want to do, and I mentioned this in the last video, is this plus button in the top right. Whenever we hit it, the new budget form pops up, right? But what if we hit that, or a user hits that, and they no longer want to see it? It was a mistake, or they've changed their mind, they no longer want to create a budget. Well, this doesn't disappear until once created. So what I want to do, I want to, I guess, dynamically style this button with this font icon to a minus once it's been opened, so you can close it, and it'll also do an action, so it'll close the form itself and make it collapse too. So we're going to change how it appears once it's open, and also when you click on it, it'll make the budget disappear, the budget form. And then one other thing I noticed, let me do it while the app's running. I don't think this is given enough space relative to the size of the app. We hard-coded a width. I don't remember making it this exact. I don't know why I did that. We gave it a hard-coded width for this column right here in the grid. And so I want to make this actually just a star, like this. And that might be a little too big, so maybe we'll make these ones, 2 star. And let's look at that. And yeah, now it's more dynamic. It's no longer locked in at 18, or what was it, 180 pixels. And now you can see it gets larger and smaller depending on the size of the app. And what these stars mean, in case you don't know. So 2 star, it takes up, well, first let's add up all of the stars. So there's 2 here, 1 here, there's 5 stars. So this is split up into fifths, and this is taking up 2/5, this is taking up 2/5, and this is taking up 1/5, and that's how this is all set up. And then we have this extra, 19.3 pixels. I don't know why. Let me make that 20. And I just did that to give us some space, I guess, was my reasoning, though I don't really see any space, so maybe that doesn't even matter. But anyway, that looks better now. And so the next thing I want to do is dynamically change how the button looks once it's open. And we'll have to close the app to do this because this is going to happen in the code behind. And so the method in the code behind that we care about is the new budget button click event handler, because that's what gets fired whenever we hit the plus button. And so what I want to do is continue with, if the visibility is collapsed, we're going to make it visible. But not only do we want the form to be visible, we also want to change the styling of this button, or really we want to change what icon is shown. And so this button, I want to reference it in the code behind. Let's give it a name, and I can name this add button font icon. And now in the code behind, we can say the add button font icon dot glyph. What is that going to be equal to? And if we go back to the XAML, you can see it's this weird combination of characters. And this is how you write Unicode in XAML. This is just a Unicode value. And to write Unicode, you're going to do \u and whatever Unicode value we want to give it. And so here are all the different icons we can choose from. The value and the icon that I want to use is not this pencil. That was for later on. Let me find the minus icon right here. This remove. I'm going to use this icon, so we want E738, and we'll copy that and put it right here. So that's good. So once it's hit, the icon should turn into that remove icon. But we want to do something else. We want to say else. If it's clicked again, we want the budget stack panel dot visibility to be back to collapsed. So equal visibility dot collapsed, and then we want to turn back the icon to the plus. So I'll copy this. And if we go to the XAML again, we'll grab E710 is the code for the plus, and we'll just place it right here. So this should do what we want. Let's test it out. And so now it's plus, right? So if I hit it, watch, it turns to minus, which we told it to right here. And if we hit it again, it'll run through this else statement and now collapse it just like that. And you can keep doing this to test it out. So now this works. If the user accidentally hits the button, they can make it disappear again as it were before. So that's great. The next thing I want to do is I want to put a button on each row here in the list view that if the user clicks on it, they can go ahead and update that information. And so I'm going to go back to the XAML and our list view. I am going to add a column to our grid view. So let's add another grid view column. Let's give this one a defined width of like 50 pixels will be enough just for the button. And we'll give it a header value of edit. And you can see that just popped up over here if I zoom in. And so with the other grid view columns, we just bound it to an item in the list that's passed through to this list view. But this one's going to be static. It's just going to be a static button. So you have to do it a bit differently. So we got to add a grid view column.cell template, and then inside of that a data template, and then here is where we put our button. So I'm just going to use a normal button for now, and then inside of this button we're going to do pretty much the same thing that we did up here. We're going to add a font icon. So I'm just going to copy that and put it inside of this button. And now we can change the foreground if we want. So the foreground, I am going to make the foreground of this button or the icon color the global app color. So we can do static resource my apps.brushes.accent, and then it'll just use the accent color that's used throughout the app. In our case, it's going to be that light blue, and we don't want to have the plus button as the icon in this font icon. So instead we want to go back here and go back to the pencil that I had previously selected, so this one right here, and we're going to use that as the icon. So let's see how this looks. We might have to change a bit of the background color. I'm not sure what it is by default. Actually, it's not too bad. So now if we click it, nothing happens. There's no click event yet, but that will come in the next video. So we can pop the information back up into this form and edit the budget, and then that'll also update the database. So that'll happen in the next video. I didn't want to make this video too long. I just kind of wanted to set it up to that point. And yeah, if you like this, feel free to subscribe and like, and stay tuned for the next one. Take care.